colleagues. Welcome again to Restore, our podcast where healthcare workers encourage healthcare workers. I am your host, Josephine, a mom, a wife, a pharmacist, and a business owner. At Restore RX, we help healthcare workers like myself prevent caregiver burnout. We're all about work-life balance, and we aim at helping everyone become caregivers who are compassionate yet confident. I'm excited on today's episode because our special guest speaker is Dr. Chinedu Chukwu. You guys know I started my career in the United States as a foreign pharmacist grad. So he was one of the foundational resources or go-to person and has still been a go-to person for me. So do I have any questions around pharmacy administration, around practicing pharmacy in the US? Do I want to ask how going to pharmacy school in the US was? Because I didn't go to pharmacy school in the United States. I will be dialing his number. Why I appreciate Dr. Chinedu so well is that his phone is accessible to me 24/7. So it means a lot to me to have him today as our thought leader. He has practiced pharmacy for 16 years, and today he will be encouraging and enriching the old pharmacists and the pharmacy students or pharmacy technicians who are on their path to joining the pharmacist workforce. So as a community pharmacist, I'm big and very passionate around building healthier communities through preventative health or managing chronic disease. I think recently, Dr. Chinedu, you have been working on research pharmacy. So I would like to bring you in to inspire young Gen Zs who probably just moved to the United States and they were pharmacists like me back home, but they have to take the FPGEC, the TOEFL, and probably get that 1,500 hours of experience. And they are saying, hey, I don't like community pharmacy in America, but I want to see what options are open to me. I think you are the best person right now I can bring to any immigrant or foreign pharmacist that is trying to gain insight as to what other options they have outside community pharmacy.
Okay. Oh, wow. Thank you again for having me on your podcast. This is actually an honor because, like I said, we go way back. We're kind of like two different spectrums of the same pharmacy scope. And yes, I mean, that is literally what I've been, I guess, on this earth to help people to kind of connect the dots and get them to where they want to go. Because a lot of people, admire where I've been, where I'm going, and again. So this is the perfect setting, and I thank you for continuing your Restore RX. It's definitely a beacon for other people to again get that resource. So again, I'm glad to help you and also your audience. And definitely. I'm that person. I'm in different organizations, and I've done a lot of things. So I guess let me know the first question because it's a deep question.
Okay. So the first question, share with a foreign pharmacist where or what options they have if they're about to, let's say they have passed and they are now licensed by APHA or NABP, the Pharmacist American Board of Pharmacy. They are now licensed to practice pharmacy, but they don't like it in retail. What were the other options that you did? Can you share your experience to them so they can see that you're not just reading off anything from a book or a textbook, but you're sharing what you have done and what you have done very well?
Okay, good question. So, again, to your audience, those new grads or foreign or US based, pharmacy in itself is complex. So there is the retail setting, which is probably the first entry level thing you can do as a new grad with your didactic knowledge, with your intern hours. But then there is the government setting. If you're a citizen, you can work into the government. There's different branches. There's the FDA. There's the Department of there's the DOD. Department of Defense. So there's military bases you can work on. You can work in the FDA, doing regulation policy. But I guess those require more seniority. So I think If you want to go from retail, the next thing you probably can do is probably get into clinical trial research, or I should say into the private sector, working on projects for those bigger companies. So, example, like for me, what I did after I worked for CVS for about 3-4 years, I went on the internet, again, that's big, Indeed, LinkedIn, and look for roles that require pharmacists that are outside of community. So you can probably say look for contract positions. That's probably the key buzzword. So contracting on a military base, right? Or contracting with the FDA to do a short-term project, or so I think that's probably the best way to start branching into the private work, because community is private, but it's also work. They're owned by the top four, right? The Target, CVS now. Mm-hmm. You have the Walmart, the Walgreens, but then there's pharmacists work in the roles. Let's talk about military or government first, and we can branch to like the private. So I think the easiest probably will be working for a military base. Okay. That may be a little bit more remote. Maybe say in the suburbs of of the city, like maybe 10-15 miles outside of the metropolis. So let's say like in the East Coast, there's so many bases. There's Army has the bases, and there's the Air Force, and then there's the Navy. So these are three institutions that require to have a hospital system, right? So within the hospital system, of course, there's the inpatient, outpatient. So the pharmacist can work in the outpatient setting, helping the soldiers or the families of these soldiers with the medication. So imagine like a college campus, right? Everything is there. They have the dentist, the hospital, the school, it's like a community with itself, like a college campus, but it's military based. Wow. So that's probably an easy transition, because it's community still, but it's like a smaller subset. Literally, only people who are in the military or retirees can come to that world. You can't see anybody from the street, or a private patient is literally, everyone has, the fun thing about it, the same insurance, TRICARE. So very easy to do the billing for the medications, and it's just one software. So I think that's like an unknown world, because a lot of people think you have to be enlisted, a soldier, or have to kind of commission office for 3-4 years. Yeah, they have that too, but there's like another way where you can do like an assignment, maybe 6 months, 1 year, and then if you do good, they like you if you have the people skills. People skills, and they can say, oh, okay, you have assets. You know the software, you're good with patients. You have the private, because they like to have people who are well-rounded. You've done your CVS, your Walgreens, Walmart. Yeah. You can bring that organizational skills from the outside into this new world, which is the DoD military base, and then you can then from there kind of become a manager or supervise a bigger set, because just like in any setting, there's a hierarchy of beginning, middle, mid-level, and then you have a supervisor role, and you climb up the ranks. But I think that's one world, right? Get into the Department of Defense, DoD, right, and then contract, and then also you can do that same kind of contract world with like the FDA or the NIH, which these are more government institutions, not military, but government institutions that have that same hierarchy of come as a contractor, and then temporary role or 6-month role, and then from there they can make you. So they call that then you become a GS, government servant. Then you can become actually an employee of the government and get your pension, your benefits, your 20-year, 10-year-ship. So that's like another way people can kind of like still do community, practice with the oral. Let's just say, your basic top 100 drugs, right? It's not inpatient, heavy IV infusions, and not so much it's kind of like it's the general population pharmacies, not specialized care. I think that's probably the first 3 things you can do, besides community, go into the Department of Defense or go into like one of the big organizations, FDA, NIH. HHS, Human Health Services, that all kind of have that similar, they're just a closed door, closed campus patient.
Very nice. Very, 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 because if you're somebody that is passionate about people's health, that's a way to really have it more in-house, like very like feel like family kind of feel. And but one thing I heard you say is you have to be a citizen.
Well, okay, so contractor they prefer, because when you, just like HIPAA, right? We all know what HIPAA is, right? They want people who are not going to, because once you work on a military base or on a government facility, right? You're inside their system, right? So if you're not a citizen, there's a lot of terrorist threats now. So if you're not a citizen and you're exposed to the software and all the files. They don't want. They still hire non-citizens, green card holders.
Yeah.
But they prefer you because that way they know that you're loyal to the organization. Because once you're behind not enemy walls, but once you're in their sauce system, right? Like there's all these hackers threats, and once you're there, you can do a lot of damage if you are a bad person. Because the systems between all DoD, NIH, they're kind of all the same software. So it's like everybody uses Microsoft Office, right? So once you have that, you can now infiltrate, or let's just say you can manipulate the system. Let me not say infiltrate, but that's the negative side. If somebody that's a sneaky person, or like you heard the news last year, right? Some kid was he in the Navy? He hacked into the U.S. system and exposed some military files.
Excess curiosity.
Yes,
excess curiosity. You don't have to be that curious. Good to be curious, but that's one is excess. There's too much of everything.
But that's our role, right? We're healthcare providers, so professionalism is important.
Yeah.
So just because you have that title of a PharmD or you're a doctor pharmacist, doesn't mean you have to abuse it, because people are going to expect you to always uphold 24 hours a day. At work, off the clock.
And that's where soft skill and character trumps hard skill. Just because you're great at data entry, you're great at drop off, you can do this, do that, but you don't have the character. The character is what sustains you through that career. So also, you said research, you said you can have an opportunity to go from a contractor to becoming a government employee. You also said that if you're looking to transition from retail with your experience and your expertise, you can go through Indeed.com or LinkedIn or any of the places where you can apply for a job and look for a way to give back to our veterans by serving on the military base, giving back, working much closely like a neat family. I think you've said a lot, and even me myself, I'm now interested in this one.
Yes, and I want to add too. So just for the listeners too, there's also the VA, Veteran Affairs. There's another government sector. A lot of people kind of neglect. So you have the active VA, which is people who are retired or who are disabled. So like that's the military, the soldiers who are actively enlisted and fighting the wars for us. But then once they retire, the VA takes care of them. So imagine Medicare. So that takes care of the elderly in the population.
The VA,
It's like the Medicare equivalents for the people who are soldiers or ex-soldiers.
Wow.
And they always have facilities, or there's small hospitals that service only people who are retired. So that's another world, the VA world, which is under DoD, Department of Defense, that also needs healthcare providers, nurses, of course, pharmacists, because again, the geriatric population gets older. Yeah,
is what I was going to. Some pharmacies are specializing now into geriatric, and that would be a good place for them to transition when they are leaving. If they want to just focus on geriatric population, transition from retail into VA. So you have really fed us, like I said, at Restore. On this podcast, we like to eat good food, and there are different ways to be nourished. You have nourished our minds and given us insightful ideas, because sometimes you're so burnt out as a caregiver in community pharmacy due to the high volume or overload of work that your brain cannot even think. You're going on Monday through Sunday, blank brain. So the reason we have this podcast is if somebody is looking for a sharp way to come and eat some good food and learn from the pharmacists that are successful in retail, they can log in on this podcast and get one or two tips or nuggets to say, now I'm beginning to see the tunnel is beginning to get clearer. So those are the values and the benefits we try to bring. So you have fed us. Now I'm going back to how when it comes to a servant leader, you're one of our servant leaders in community, and I know you're big on the can you remind me the association? NAPSA. So let's hear a little bit of if people are looking for community, because post-COVID, we now know that people are braving the wilderness. Some people are still isolating. They are dying because they can't trust anybody. and they are looking for a rich network or social network where they can come out and enjoy some socialization with colleagues. Tell us a little bit about NAPSA and how NAPSA can become a community for Africans or people that appreciate Africans that are doing healthcare and want to be part of this big movement.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you for mentioning that. So, again, wow, NAPSA is another big organization. It's private. NAPPSA.org. It's been around since I've been a pharmacist. That is a Nigerian-based association. It's where we share. We have scholarships for students.
Yeah.
We share networking with other people in different sectors of pharmacy and pharmaceutical sciences. And then also it's a place to come and, just meet other people who are like-minded. So it's definitely a social platform, and it's from all ages, from people who are students to people who are retirees. And again, it's kind of like my second home. I knew about NAPSA this one weekend randomly in Texas.
Okay.
And I went to the conference, and since then I've been going every year. I go more for, like I said, now I'm a member, I'm a leader, like I said, I'm a leader, and I'm on different committees now, and I help to groom, just like you right now, this podcast, groom other pharmacists and expose them, because a lot of people, are in silos, which is, I didn't realize that, before COVID too, I didn't know people kind of, stay to themselves and kind of do it on their own.
They mind their business. Let's say we say it in Nigeria, mind your business. So they're working off the mindset, mind your business.
Right.
But now we cannot mind our business, or we cannot let our people continue to suffer mental health just because they have abused themselves for so long. So humans are created to be social creatures. So you just need to I know so many people say they've been hurt by people, and because they've been hurt by people, they decide to isolate. Isolation is not healthy, but you just need to find out what is that right place that I belong, where I feel accepted, where I feel seen, and where I feel cared for. So instead of putting yourself in an environment that is toxic, you need to find a place where people see you for who you are and accept you for your flaws. So I think NAPSA might work out for so many Nigerian pharmacists or immigrants that are saying, hey, they've not accepted me in the other, minority groups. I'm looking for where they understand my culture. They understand that when I'm very direct and blunt, it doesn't mean I'm mean. It doesn't mean I'm angry. It's just me trying to convert my mother tongue into English. And because we are very powerful and strong, as for example, I'm an Igbo woman. So sometimes when I try to take what I would say in Igbo and say it in English, I could come across as very blunt. But sometimes our definition of saying the truth is say it as it is. And say it as it is I take what I would have said in Igbo and I shoot it out of my mouth. It doesn't mean I don't care for you. So let's get people to begin to understand that we need to be culturally competent. And the best way to start is by starting with your people. So if somebody is Nigerian, is trying to join NAPSA, how do they go about that?
Good question. Again, I love your presentation. Definitely, Josephine, I love that. How you infuse the real culture into the present day. Your podcast. So, again, NAPSA, two ways. You can go through napsa.org, which is a website that shows events for the year. And you can click on membership. There's a button on the bottom of things, maybe bottom left. You can be a member, a student member, or a practicing member. There's two different categories. Okay. And also, too, there's a WhatsApp group. So it depends on how you want to interact. There's WhatsApp groups. You can talk and chat and share ideas, or job postings, or vaccine questions. Questions about work. We have different forums. I think first thing first is napsa.org. Be a member, and then also too, if you want to join we have an Instagram too. Wow. You can follow the Instagram. So there's three ways. If you want to join kind of passively, kind of watch and observe through Instagram, or if you want to join full-fledged and have all the access to the groups and the forums and the questions, like networking questions, socializing questions, I think go through the napsa.org, be a member, and you can see the full array of, again, I said, there's workshops, there's forums talk about all topics from immunizations to work to school, and then there's just, of course, Niger politics. There's all that stuff there, but
that's good news. Good news. When you feel homesick, you can connect.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to, because a lot of the leadership is I should say they went to school in Nigeria, kind of they're immigrants, so they came here, and so there's like there's a new wave right now. So I'm gonna say I'm 40, you know, so I'm older, but I'm still new wave. So like a lot of times we have that young crowd that wants to know about stuff happening in America.
Yeah.
Also that there's a wave of people who are retired and want to kind of transition back to Nigeria. So there's a two-way traffic. There's those who want to come here and also those who want to go back.
Okay. Wow, that's powerful. So thank you again, colleagues. Dr. Chinedu has fed us. We have eaten so much. So you can have both and more. You can work retail and have these other opportunities as your side hustle. You can start your own podcast. You can start your own business. You can start. The most important thing is don't be a taker. Be a go-giver and be a go-taker. Take and give, and then you will enjoy your life. So if you have so much to say and you're looking to be on this podcast, please reach me on LinkedIn. I am on LinkedIn, Josephine Oby Anyanwu. Dr. Chinedu, if some foreign pharmacists or some young pharmacist grad or pharmacy student loves what they've heard from you today, I want to hear more or get to connect one-on-one with you. How do they connect with you on LinkedIn?
Okay, I'm also on LinkedIn too. Same way. My first name, Chinedu Chukwu. I think there's only one of me there, but so look for me LinkedIn. I'm in the Tennessee Nashville region. If you probably want to filter it. Okay. And then also, email is probably the most direct way. So it will be my Gmail will be Dr. CHUKWU@gmail. That'll probably be the fastest way to connect to me.
You see how he has given you 24/7 access to him through email? Now, I'm not lying. This is one thing about him that makes him a servant leader. He is a leader that washes the feet of healthcare workers. I am very honored to have you give me your time, your attention, and make me feel special today. Thank you so much. God bless you. We appreciate you. The more they start coming to me to ask me, where about that doctor? Please accept and forgive me at the same time, because I will be directing them straight to you. Thank you, everyone. I'll be sharing his Gmail, his LinkedIn address or profile on in this post. Like this post, share this post to healthcare workers, and let us continue to grow. Like at Restore RX, we are all about winning together. We like the team win. So our slogan is, let's win together. We help healthcare workers prevent caregiver burnout or reverse caregiver burnout with work-life balance. You cannot serve from an empty you. So remember, self-love, self-care, and self-acceptance. Thank you so much. We have enjoyed our time with you. Stay well, be safe, have fun, and continue to share those fun pictures on social media so we can learn from you and copy how to have fun. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You can leave some nuggets or some tips for young single pharmacists who are saying, hey, give us some good advice here.
Oh man, you're really feeding your audience for real. Like, in fact, I should have washed my hands to eat this sweet ofe you're serving here for real. I love it. But I guess again, like I said, you said it all. I think number one tip is find your passion, right? Don't just work. Do things that you enjoy to do, and like I said, stay connected. Don't ever go through life thinking you can do it by yourself. There's so much networking can land you a job. Networking can land you your next girlfriend, boyfriend. Networking can land you, that position or that opportunity for somebody else behind you. Oh, I have a friend that knows this, and that, so again, network and follow your passion, like you said. We all gonna work together.
Thank you so much, everybody. Take good care of yourself. Have fun. Get some sunlight before the winter comes here. Get your vaccinations. Let's continue to build healthier communities. Thank you, everyone, and bye.
Bye-bye.